What's good, y'all? It's Better Dean. In this video, I'll be going over my entire college application timeline, journey, process, whatever y'all want to call it. But essentially, I'm just going to be letting y'all know when I applied to each thing and any advice I have for any of y'all that are applying to college in the future. Now, before I start, some upfront conclusions. First of all, would I recommend applying to 55 colleges like I did? And the answer is, it depends. If you're applying to BSMD, then you might not be hitting 55 exactly, but you might be hitting somewhere around that ballpark, maybe 30, 40, just because if you're dead set on getting into a BSMD program, then you're going to have to apply to a lot to increase your chance of getting in. Now, the second question that a lot of my underclassmen friends ask me is, where did I get my essays checked? And I actually used 3 different services throughout my entire college application process. I'll get into them when I get into the college advising section of this video, but just for an upfront conclusion, the first 2 that I used were like adults who like ran the company and they did this for a living. And then the third one was a college matching kind of thing where like they match you to a college student who checks their essays for you. I did not have any luck with the first 2. The third one actually was really helpful where I got matched someone. I don't really recommend going through this entire match process because it's kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of a mixed bag. You can get really great college advisors. You can get not so great college advisors. So if you know a college advisor, then definitely just go to that person if you've heard good reviews from them. On that note, my college advisor actually does her own private consulting of her own. Her name is Nidhi Bhaskar. Her email is nidhi_bhaskar@brown.edu. So she's a student at Brown. She's in their BSMD program, their program in liberal medical education. Her essay writing skills are really good. Honestly, I came out with some of the strongest essays when I was working with her, and I'm still continuing to use those essays for summer programs, for pre-med, and also to apply for scholarships. And I've already gotten into some really great programs already. So definitely go check her out. Just go ahead and shoot her an email, tell her, hey, I heard about you on Better Dean's channel. I'd be interested in working with you, and she'll set up a meeting with you to talk about your schedule and stuff. Prices wise, her prices are really cheap, or well, inexpensive. Her prices are really good. They're cheaper than every other place I've been to, and honestly, I can't recommend her highly enough. I literally got some of the best work done on my college essays through her services than I got through any other place that I've been to. And like I said, I've tried 3 other places that people have recommended to me, and none of them panned out except when I got matched to her through the matching service. But honestly, I just got lucky that the fact that I got matched to her. I know some of my other friends who didn't have such a great experience, so definitely go and shoot her an email. Again, get started working with her. I promise her prices are much cheaper than any of the stuff I paid when I went through any of the other services that I went through. Alright, so those are just some of the upfront conclusions. Now, let's get into the rest of the video. So first of all, the circumstances that let me apply to 55 colleges while being a senior. So most people ask me in the comments like, how did you maintain your grades? How didn't you go crazy while doing all this? And honestly, there's 3 main things. First of all, I applied in the 2020 and 2021 cycle, so online school is a lot easier than in-person school, so I'll just leave it at that. It was online school, so I definitely had a little bit more mental bandwidth and time to do so. Second of all, my course load was pretty okay. Like, I took 3 APs, but the teachers I got were pretty chill. They were great teachers. I didn't get any super hard teachers, so that was nice. And then lastly, because I am pre-med, my AP classes matter because I need to get good grades my first semester of senior year to like send to colleges. But when it comes to like AP tests, I don't really need to know the stuff because I can't use any of the AP credits that I get from my AP tests anyway. So I didn't really focus on learning. I just focused on getting the A, and that's it. So that's just me. That was my personal circumstances. Your circumstances may be different, so it just depends on that. But like I said, I don't recommend applying to 55 colleges if you're just going for undergrad. Alright, with that out of the way, now let's get into the actual timeline of my application process. So let's start with the first at the top. So this is my spreadsheet that I used to like kind of like track my entire college application process and like my college list and everything. I've gotten a lot of compliments on this template, so if you find that it's a good template, go ahead and check it in the description below. I'll link a blank copy of this so y'all can like make a copy of it and use it if you're all applying to college in the future and stuff. So alright, let's get into the timeline. So let's start off with the rolling admissions. So with rolling admissions, these are some colleges that have some rolling admissions. Nothing much to see here. University of Pittsburgh, I actually did apply super late, so I actually got waitlisted there. Because they do have rolling admission, you want to apply as early as possible if you want to like make sure that you have that as a safety school in your backup list. It's a really good school for pre-med. I've talked about it in my college list breakdown, so go check that out if you want to know a little bit more about University of Pittsburgh and also all the other schools I applied to. Okay, so from August 11th all the way to August 25th, I attended a lot of interviews with schools. So and I also attended a multicultural flying program kind of thing for Tulane University. So because there were no more college visits now, a lot of colleges were doing interviews, virtual interviews, to kind of get to know their applicant pool. So if you're all applying to college in the future, I would highly recommend that you do these virtual interviews if you have the opportunity. It's really a great way for the college to get to know you and also to demonstrate interest to like increase your chances and stuff. Alright, so November 1st is kind of like the big deadline, the first big deadline. So obviously I had a couple of colleges that I applied to, and also Rutgers University's BA MD program. I also applied to that. November 15th, another big deadline, a couple more colleges here, nothing special. And then November 30th is usually the UC deadline, but they actually extended the University of California deadline to December 4th, so I'll get to that when I get there. But November 30th, I actually got to the second stage of the BSMD application process for SUNY Polytechnic Institute, so they sent me their second application and I filled it out, sent it back to them. I also applied to UAlbany because I wanted to apply to their BSMD program, so I applied to the undergraduate college. I actually used the SUNY application for this because I ran out of space on my common application, but I'll talk more about that in the advice section. December 1st, nothing special here, a couple of BSMD programs, a couple of regular universities. I also applied to Vanderbilt scholarships. I didn't get any scholarships at all. If I did, I would have probably gone to these schools, but I didn't get any scholarships, but I did apply to them. On December 3rd, I applied to Pasadena City College, which is kind of like my local community college. I think I talked about it in my college list breakdown video, but going to community college and then transferring to a four-year university is a pretty popular option in pretty much on all over the West Coast, because our transfer guarantees are pretty good here and our public universities are pretty good. So if any of y'all on the East Coast thinking, why would you apply to community college? That's why. Alright, let's keep going. Like I said, December 4th was when the UCs extended their deadline, so I actually submitted it on November 29th, but this is the actual deadline. December 5th, I submitted some Tulane scholarships. I actually didn't get the last two, but I did get the community service scholarship, which was really nice. They only give it to like 16 people every year, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to go to Tulane, but unfortunately just didn't end up working out, so I'm going to USC now, but yeah. December 6th, I actually got to the second stage of the application process for Rochester Institute of Technology's BSMD program. I didn't end up getting into any BSMD programs, like I said, but that's when I sent in my application for the second step. December 8th, Union College's BSMD program. December 10th, so this is kind of cool, if y'all didn't know, there's something called the Computer-Based Assessment for Sampling Personal Characteristics, or CASPER. It's something that's usually used to get into medical school. Like, in addition to the MCAT, it's not really an intellectual kind of thing, it's more of a social kind of thing, and they're kind of like trying to make sure you're not a sociopath or a psychopath before you go to medical school. So I just kind of test like your logical reasoning and things like that. I didn't know much about it, so I didn't really prepare for it, but it's just, yeah, as long as you're not a psychopath, you'll be fine. For BSMD programs anyway. For medical school, you should probably prepare a little bit more, but medical school probably already know that. But okay, so moving along, on December 11th, Temple University BSMD program, submitted that application. December 15th, a couple more applications here. December 18th, so Rutgers University, I said I applied to the BSMD program just in case I got in, I guess. I applied to their living learning community because it was pretty cool. It was like really diversity and stuff, which I'm pretty interested in, so I applied to that. SUNY Upstate University, Medical University, they have their own kind of application for like where they consolidate all their BSMD programs together, where you have to submit a supplementary thing, so I did that. From there on out, it was just pretty much regular colleges, so basic four-year universities. WashU, I applied to their scholarships. Unfortunately, I didn't get the scholarships, but I applied to them. A couple more colleges here. University of Cincinnati, I applied to their scholarship because I was intending on applying to their BSMD program, but they canceled it for the 2020 school year kind of thing, so I couldn't apply to it, but I did apply to the scholarship. I didn't get the scholarships because my essays were terrible, but that's that. Pomona College, Williams College, so there's more colleges. I attended my Princeton interview here, and I also had the Rutgers Living Learning thing on the same day, so I kind of just skipped the Rutgers thing and just went to the Princeton one. I didn't get to Princeton anyway, but I just went to that interview that day. Moving along, some other stuff. Brown University made their students send in a video portfolio. I did that, sent that in that day. A couple more colleges, a couple of BSMD programs. Case Western scholarships, they never got back to me on that, so I'm guessing I didn't get it, but yeah. Oklahoma University's BSMD program. Strolling along, there's some other stuff. I did an Adelphi University Honors College interview here. Washington Jefferson College Scholars Program, Harvard interview, more interviews. All the purple stuff is interviews. UC Irvine actually makes their students send in their scholarship applications before they hear their decision. So I sent in the scholarship application. There were a lot of essays for this one, but I did it. I mean, not like it helped or anything in the end anyway, because I got waitlisted. But yeah. University of Oklahoma, this fellowship for global engagement thing, I applied to it because I applied to the BSMD program, so in case I got in, I also wanted to have this too. It's kind of like a paid study abroad thing. I didn't get it anyway, so I'm guessing it's super competitive, so just check that out if you want to. UCLA scholarship, Tulane's multicultural flying thing for all their admitted students, and I also got into the Tulane Honors College, so I went to their honors weekend, which is, it was all virtual. UC Riverside Honors, I applied to it, but it's kind of a waste of time because they don't give you your decision unless you like commit to the school. So I didn't commit to UC Riverside, I committed to USC. But so I think it was like today, the day I'm recording, that I got the email that they automatically withdrew my application because I didn't commit to UC Riverside. So that's that. So don't apply there, I guess, if you're not intending to commit to UC Riverside. USC's freshman science honors programs. This is like a science honors program where like you placed in a smaller cohort for specific bio and chem classes. For those are kind of pre-med requirements anyway. So I applied to that. I got in, which I was really fortunate for. It kind of alleviates a little bit of stress of going to the normal USC colleges. USC's general classes. I'll talk about that a little bit more once I actually like get to USC and stuff. But yeah. And lastly, May 15th. That was a couple days ago. I don't know. But May 15th, I submitted my Howard University's BSMD application. I'm not expecting anything at all. Like I said, I've gotten rejected from every single BSMD program I've applied to at this point, so I'm not expecting to get in. If I do get in, I'll be really happy. I'll probably go, but I don't expect to get in. I don't expect anything out of it. But yeah, that is my entire college application timeline. That's pretty much like where I applied to and stuff. Now, let's get into the advice. Okay, so before I get into the advice, let me give you a little preface of college advising that I did, so my entire timeline of college advising, I guess, just so you'll have some context when I give you all the advice. First of all, the first service that I used was called Moon Prep. They charged $150 an hour for each of their sessions. It was outrageously expensive and not worth it at all. The essays that I got out of it were really bad. I can't recommend this company at all. I did not enjoy my experience. It was like the essays I got out of it were pretty bad. I couldn't use them. Those are the essays I actually submitted to some of my early BSMD programs. Honestly, it's not like I can say I would have gone in if my essays were better. Maybe I would have, but no one knows. But the essays that I got out of there were just completely terrible, which is why I switched over to a second company, which is called Elite Prep. So Elite Prep is this company that's like located in a lot of places. They have an office in my area, so like, but it was virtual because COVID and quarantine stuff. But so their thing was $150 an hour for 1-to-1 sessions, and then $100 an hour for 2-hour sessions with 4 people, so it's like a group session. I did 2 1-to-1 sessions, and I did 1 group session. The quality of this was okay, much better than Moon Prep, but not like outstanding or anything. Like my essays were okay, I guess. They kind of expect you to do a lot of sessions and spend a lot of money to kind of like for them to put in maximum effort, which I really don't like, but that's just how their structure is kind of set up. So obviously, like I only went to some one-off things here and then, so here and now. So I only did like 3 sessions total, so I didn't get like full attention or anything. But that's that. And then lastly, this is the thing I was talking about, the matching service. It's called collegeadvisor.com. You'll see this all over YouTube of people. They sponsor a lot of college YouTubers. They are not sponsoring me at all. And honestly, I don't recommend them. I only recommend them if you're desperate like me. I didn't know anyone else to go to or turn to at that point. I really needed someone to edit my essays because I wanted to maybe apply to Ivy Leagues, maybe apply to a couple more schools, because at that point I was solely focused on BSMD programs and I hadn't really built up my regular decision list yet. So that's why I went to College Advisor. I lucked out with getting the College Advisor that I got, which was Nidhi Bhaskar, like I told you all, and that is my official recommendation for where you should get your college advising done. It's just, I have nothing but good things to say about her. She's amazing. She does really good work on essays. She's actually willing to like rework your essays and not be like, oh, maybe this part is kind of okay, because I've definitely encountered college advisors like that where they won't actually edit your essay. What they'll do is they'll just like kind of point stuff out and be like, this part isn't good, maybe you should change it. Like, bro, what am I supposed to change, you know? So this Nidhi Bhaskar, she's great. I've had a really great experience with her. She's also helping me with some other essays right now that I'm applying to for programs and stuff. If y'all did, y'all probably didn't know because I haven't told y'all, but I have two younger brothers. One of them is gonna be a freshman in high school next year, and then when he ends up applying to college in the next 4 years, I'm also gonna have him go to Nitty Basketball for college essay advising. So I completely trust her with all of my essays, and if y'all want to work with her, which I think y'all definitely should, go ahead and shoot her an email at nitty_baskar@brown.edu. Just tell her you heard about her on Better Reading's channel, and that you'd be interested in working with her, and she'll set up a time. And honestly, it'll be a lot cheaper. I actually didn't tell you all the price for College Advisor. So when I got matched to Nitty on College Advisor, it was $50 an hour, which is a lot cheaper than the other places. But Nitty's prices, if you work with her privately, are even cheaper than that. So definitely go email her, set up a time to talk. She'll let you know all about her prices, and they're very much affordable. And especially for me, because I am middle class, I don't have cash to burn on college advising and the college application process like some people do. So it was really important for me to really manage and budget my money, and make sure that I really put the money where I would have gotten the best value. And honestly, Moon Prep and Elite Prep were low-key kind of a waste of money for me. I regret going there, and if I knew about Nitty beforehand, I would have gone here. And like I said, she's still editing my essays at this point, so I'm completely satisfied with her work, and you all should go definitely check her out. Okay, so now let's get into the actual advice portion of this video. So when it comes to advice, I have a lot of college application advice. I'll make a whole separate video on the whole college application process and what you all should do, and all the advice that I have for y'all. But here's some 3 pieces of advice that not a lot of people know about. First of all is, like I said, the earliest deadline that I applied to was November 1st. So, but there's actually a hidden deadline before that, and that not a lot of people know about, and it's October 15th. October 15th is the deadline for University of North Carolina Chapel Hill for their early action, and if you're out of state, you best apply early action, because you're not going to get an regular decision unless you're a genius or you've cured cancer or something, just because they have a really low acceptance rate for out-of-state students. So if you want to go to UNC, definitely apply early action. And October 15th is also the deadline for Oxbridge, or Oxford and Cambridge. That's kind of what they're called together, because you can only apply to one if you're applying for undergrad. So if you want to apply to Oxford, or if you want to apply to Cambridge, which I kind of low-key wanted to do, I just didn't know about it, then definitely keep that October 15th deadline in mind. Second of all, the common application has a 20 app limit, so if you're applying to a lot of colleges, you can only apply to 20 on Common App, so that's why I use the Common App. I use the Coalition application. The Coalition application has no limits at all. I use the UC application for my University of California colleges, and then 2 of my colleges, Stony Brook University and University of Albany, for those 2 BSMD programs, I use something called their own SUNY application, or State University of New York application. So definitely just keep that in mind. Common application has only 20, so if you're applying to a large amount of schools, make sure to budget where you're applying to each school. And last but not least, if you're like me and you kind of exhausted your common application, and you wanted to apply to maybe say Cornell is not available on the Coalition application, but it is available on something called the Universal College application, which I didn't know about. There's only 3 colleges on there. There's Harvard, Cornell, and University of Charleston. So I guess if you run out of space that bad and you want to apply to Cornell, then I guess go ahead and use that. That's just some really obscure advice. Overall, like I said at the beginning of this video, please, for everyone watching this out there, apply early decision to any school that you would be happy attending. If you don't get into that school, then apply early decision too. The college application process has really changed, with it becoming so competitive this year. If you want to get into a top tier university if you're a good student, not a great student, but a good student, and you want to get in, then early decision is the way to go. It's becoming really hard for people to get in regular decision. It used to be that you can have good stats and write amazing essays and get in, but honestly, the college application process has changed so much that it's just not possible anymore. So, well, I don't want to say impossible, but it's just very highly unlikely. So definitely early decision. That's all the advice I had for y'all. I'll definitely make another college application advice video if y'all want me to. The next video I release will be my essays that I used for USC and my personal statement, so definitely stay tuned for that. Alright, that's it for this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see y'all later.